Hi Libra, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your September 6, 2021 Mars trans Pluto reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Libra. How will Libra be affected by Mars trans Pluto? September 6, 2021 Libra. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. Right here. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have the Fool. And this has been coming up a lot for Mars trans Pluto. We become not foolish, but more of the adventurer. And that's kind of what we need more in our lives, right? This sense of breaking down boundaries and being able to embrace ourselves and our souls and what we need and what we desire and who we are. It moves us to the 8 of Water. And this is entering into the unknown, moving away from what we once thought we would love or where we once thought we would be. And it brings us then to the 2 of Swords. And the 2 of Swords is, here we have the ostrich in the sand, but it's like this is a path that I didn't know I could take because I wasn't seeing things properly for me. I wasn't embracing who I am or who I want to be or what it is that I truly desire. And it brings us to the 3 of Swords. It brings us to mourning, heartbreak, and pain and disappointment. You know, an elephant can recognize a fallen loved one by its skull. I mean, I think that's amazing. And they mourn them. They have a ritual that they do around them. And that is exquisite. It's heartbreaking, but it's exquisite. And so here, we need to mourn the part of us, or the people in our lives who have fallen, the part of us that was shattered and destroyed by life and the cruelness of the world and the intensity of being in self. And that's going to be important. You know, we think of the 3 of Swords and we think of heartbreak and pain and disappointment and we think, oh, it's just all bad. But when we look at it and we say, I see you. I see you for the imposter that you are, for the powerhouse you think you are, for the person who tries to rob me. I see you. And I don't let you claim that part of me anymore. I take the heartbreak and the pain. I take the swords that were put inside me, and I take them out, and I use them as the weapons that I fight this world with. It brings us to the energy we need to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. And it's two. It's the Princess of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. So if we're born on the cusp of Scorpio, do be mindful of this. And also the King of Swords, which is us in the minor arcana. We're represented by Justice in the major arcana, by the King of Swords in the minor arcana. What we need to be mindful of is being too reactionary emotionally, but also too cold and logical. And we're going to go from one extreme to another, and it's a day, right? We're talking about one day here. But we're also talking about the residual effects of that day. And it can make us feel like either I have to be all emotion or I have to be all logic. We also have to watch the ferocity of our words, the way that we state things, because there's going to be power in that. And we also have to watch that we're not too careful with how we speak. It's just going to be a thing of contradictions, like out of balance. We have to watch that we're not too careful of how we speak, so as almost to say nothing at all. So do be mindful of this. And we're also going to be a little bit drawn to people who are either too emotional, like they let their emotions just completely take hold of everything, or they're just going to be they're going to be a bit mean, like just a bit mean. So do be mindful of that. It moves us to our chakra energy, angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. It's flexibility. I love the sacral chakra. This is the sacral chakra because it's complex. The sacral chakra isn't straightforward. The sacral chakra holds our creative energy and our sexual energy, which is awesome, right? We want our creative energy and sexual energy, but it also holds all the doubts and all the fears that we have from this life and from past lives. And so here we're looking at it and we're saying, how do I move forward? How do I embrace? How do I find balance? This pose right here is the pose of calling in wisdom, of finding balance, of saying there's more here than meets the eye. And as we do this, we connect with us more and more. We look at the past, we look at the present, we look at the future, and we say, I need to stand here now. I cannot change what was and what will be, but I can be right where I am. And it brings us then to being able to embrace our creativity and sensuality or sexuality as we see fit, being able to claim our space in ourselves. And it moves us to the Fool. And as Spirit always states with the Fool, is that we cannot be heroes if we are not first fools. No dreamer, no legend in mythology or in history who went out and did something amazing was said, oh yeah, they're going to do that. When Perseus went to slay Medusa, nobody said, oh yeah, Perseus, that's a great idea, go slay the Gorgon. She didn't turn everybody into stone. No, he was laughed at. And they said, good luck. And he did it, and then he was a hero. Just like entrepreneurs and inventors and, creative individuals, people who think outside of the box or who reimagine the box entirely. They're laughed at and mocked until they're successful, and then everybody wants to be a part of it. It's time to embrace our own creativity. It's time to look at what we desire from life and say, why not go for it? If not now, then when? And if not me, then who? And we start to embrace and believe and be empowered. And that leads us to the Eight of Waters. It's like, this is the time to move away from stagnation. Now, let's start talking, because I was so excited about these cards that I absolutely flew over Mars trine Pluto and what that means for us. This is a time of intense, strong will and determination. We want to succeed. We're going to succeed. And this is why we need to embrace the Fool, the road less traveled, the way that people don't see as successful. If we were in one of these categories where people are like, oh, okay, I get that. But if we're going against the grain, or even if we're saying, I'm going to expand this way, and people don't see it as traditional or as sensical as they want you to be, they'll talk against it. Or it's not what they'll do. They'll talk against it. But this is a time where we need to say, I'm going after success. With Mars trine Pluto, this brings us to Mars acting on Pluto's evolutionary drive for healing, transformation, and rebuilding. This is what Pluto is for. Pluto is for the healing. It is for the transformation. It is for the building and claiming. And Libra, that's what we need. But we also need that warrior of Mars to come in. That warrior of Mars to say, I'm going to fight. I'm determined, I'm focused. We need that balance to come in. And we need that balance within ourselves, always. But we need that balance within the energy that we're embracing. Because again, we have the tendency to be either the healer or the warrior. Because the King of Swords is the warrior king. and never anything in between. Here we have to see how the healer can also be the warrior, and how we can embrace what is beautifully needed for us. This is a time to easily express our desires, our passions, and our wants, and to see how we can work this into our energy vibration, into what we desire for ourselves, and the greater energy vibration of what we want from life, of where we're headed, and our desire, our purpose. This is a time where it's almost like we name it, we claim it, and that name and that claiming has power, and it starts to elevate us. It brings us to a time of change, it brings us to a time of focus, and it helps us realize our purpose. Not anybody else's purpose for us, but our purpose for ourselves. And as we do this, our aura becomes more in line with our sensuality, with our power, and our passion. We become more in line with who we are, not who others want us to be. And again, that leads us to the fool. It leads us to saying, I will be foolish because I am going to be the hero of my story. I am going to embrace what I need to embrace, how I need to move forward, and what I desire for myself. It brings us to the 8 of water. And the 8 of water is I'm walking away from what I once thought I would love. Here, the sea turtles go out into the sea. I love sea turtles. They live so long and they're so beautiful and they do their thing. They live their world. And that's what we need to do. It's not anybody else's expectations. It's not where we were small and safe. It is where we become larger than we expected. And it's not saying that we have to go out and conquer the world or Alexander the Great at all. What it is saying is that we do not limit our souls and ourselves. If we're perfectly happy in a small town with a small group of friends and living our lives, that's our bliss. Follow it. But there's a need here to say, I am focusing on my success and my power. I am focusing on calling in the healing that brings me to this place of contentment within my life, not contempt. And that's going to be powerful for us as we open up the door, as we heal, as we connect, as we love, as we embrace, that we're not stuck, stagnant in one way or another. And that's why our heads come out of the sands at our heart. And there's a road forward that we didn't think possible, that we didn't know could be ours. And that's the thing, we're going to think, oh, well, this can't be, or this shouldn't be. But because now we're seeing things, and we're seeing ourselves openly and honestly, tenaciously and powerfully, it's like, yes, I can. And yes, I can. And as that road starts to open up within our hearts, as our hearts and our minds come together, as we see ourselves, soul and spirit, it moves us to the 3 of Swords. It moves us to this place where we mourn what has passed away. We mourn who we will never be, the chances that were robbed from us, the innocence that was taken, the shame that was given to us. We mourn it. But we also use our intensity of purpose and understanding to embrace the weapon that was given when the pain was inflicted, the sword that was given, the knowledge that was given when that pain came in. And now we're stronger. We face the hurt and the pain and the disappointment, the anger and the upset, and we see it. We see it for what it truly is. Learning, yes, but an imposter that wants to steal our energy and our time, a base energy vibration that says you can never be more. And if you can never be more, how could you possibly achieve anything, become anything? In the public arena, we're saying this is a lie. This is a curse put over us, and a curse put over us is just simply negative words, negative energy spoken to us that we internalized, and we thought they're right. What gave them the right to be right, to have a say over our lives, and to decide how we move forward. We're embracing the healing spirit of Pluto, the warrior spirit of Mars. Nothing gets to hold us back anymore. It leads us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, and that's the Chariot, Cancer energy, but not having the conscious and the subconscious coming together, not being truly focused. Again, just letting our emotions run wild and saying, it's okay, I'll get there. It's okay, I'll figure it out. Yes, you will get there. You will eventually figure it out. But having ourselves aligned during this time, balance, and that's what Libra is all about. The scales, the balance. That's going to be important. From our shadowed self to our self that we show the world that we're super proud of, to our subconscious, which can also be the shadowed self, but it's a little bit more complex, the shadowed self, and the conscious self. And now we start to see where we want to be, how we want to move forward, what we desire. It leads us to our subconscious chakra energy, and that's family, root. What is our family? At our root chakra, what is our family? What is the bonding connection that we have? Is it a family that we've created? Is it a family that we were born into? What is it that we are embracing, that we are loving, that's at our root to move us forward? It moves us to our subconscious rooted energy, and that's the tower. We follow the Fool. We follow the new path, because divinity is throwing us out of our comfort zone. The tower necessarily isn't necessarily this terrible thing. It's saying the world will be shaken up. We will be pushed out of our comfort zone. We will be told that we have to, do something that is, or we have to go after something that is bigger than we imagined. And as we do so, we embrace who we are and what we want. The world gets shaken up, and we get to be so much more powerful than we realized. And that what we expect isn't necessarily what we're going to get, but what we're going to get is exactly what we need. It moves us to our subconscious inner self, and that's the 10 of air. The 10 of air, the 10 of swords, is being surrounded by swords. It's the darkness before the dawn, but it's the fact that every single lesson has had us learn something, has had us fly to new heights, has had us, see ourselves in a different light, in a different way. And now we're being set free. We're being set free to embrace the dawn, to embrace what we desire, to embrace new heights and expectations and understandings. It brings us to our subconscious emotional self. And that's the Queen of Cups. Water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. Again, if we're born on the cusp with Scorpio, this comes out very powerfully. The Queen of Cups is the most feminine energy of all the queens, the most sacred feminine embodiment of the queens. She's the healer. She's the connector. Here I see her very much connected with Pluto. And subconsciously, your heart is going to be very powerfully connected with healing, transforming, and rebuilding. That which is intrinsically important to you, and that which you've turned away from because you didn't know how to face it. You didn't know how to look at it. You didn't know that there was a new way forward. And now that you're seeing it, and you're seeing yourself as not a pawn in a game to be moved, but as a vibrant, powerful player, you're changing everything. And it brings us then to our subconscious public arena. And that is Temperance, Sagittarius energy, a sense of balance, a sense of harmony, a sense of coming together, a sense of transforming as we find that balance, as we find what is right for us. Because remember, flamingos, they're originally white birds. They turn pink because of the food that they eat. And so here, it's like when we find that balance, that nutrients, those nutrients that help us, that guide us forward, that bring us to this place of success, it changes us. It changes our aura. It changes our connection. Also know that with Mars trans Pluto, this is a time to embrace our intuition. This is a time to embrace our psychic abilities, because we're stepping into power in a way that we hadn't expected, and we need to balance that within us. And we need to develop it, share it, and embrace our own gifts. All right, Libra. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power of this transformative change. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Libra.